Ben 10 has a total of 8,000 minutes in the classic continuity, which means that every alien should get a fair chance of being in the series and fulfilling their potential, right?
No way. Not a chance.
At the end of the day, animation is a business, and we ain't gonna get popular by showing off Lodestar. Anyways, these 7 aliens never got to fulfill their potential and ended up getting kind of lost and wasted, to be honest. So let's not waste any more time and get right into it, starting with... Ripjaws was so cool in the classic series, honestly. He was such a monstrous looking design and really set him apart from the rest of the aliens. His main cool appearances within the Kraken and They Lurk Below. The Kraken being like, what, the 4th episode of the classic series? And he was bloody sick there, mate. I don't know why I tried to fake an Australian accent. I am Australian. The Kraken appearance was sick, and it really got to show off the weirder side of Ben 10's aliens, having completely aquatic ones like Ripjaws. Although, I feel like he didn't get to shine that much because of his weakness to land and the fact that he was fully aquatic. Whenever he was on screen when it wasn't correct for the situation, like in the Kraken and They Lurk Below, he did suffer from his weakness of not being able to breathe on land or to fire. Ripjaws has 15 appearances in total, but 10 trimmed down, and I'll explain what trimmed down means. I'm going to use the term trimmed down a lot in this video, which basically means the appearances of the aliens after you remove the, quote, useless ones. For example, most of these aliens will get removed of their A New Dawn appearance, because every alien gets shown in that episode. And for Ripjaws, same as Secrets or Back with a Vengeance, as those 2 episodes were focused on Ben using all of his aliens. So while he does appear in 15 episodes in total, he really only uses them intentionally in 10. Ripjaws actually used to be my favorite alien for quite a while just because of how cool he was, and his Omniverse design really improved him a lot. And if you've seen these 2 videos on screen, then you'll know that I really love his Omniverse design. I don't really care that proportions are not really fish enough, I guess. I still think that when you look at them next to each other, the Omniverse design just blows the original one out of the water. Literally. He did have a very controversial Ultimate Alien design which really divided the fan base, and he didn't really get the same treatment as he did in the classic series. In fact, he was even hyped up in Ultimate Alien with Pike and an Omniverse with Patellidae, with Ben stating why he was never as cool as them.
How come I was never that cool as Ripjaws? You were never that cool, period.
And honestly, it makes me question why, because Ripjaws was really cool in the classic series. And I feel like with a series like Omniverse, we would have delved within the depths of water a lot more. But despite that, Ripjaws only got like 4 appearances in Omniverse, which is pretty disappointing, honestly. I feel like instead of Ultimate Wildma, an Ultimate Ripjaws would have been really cool. Ghost Freak is an interesting case because he had a whole arc centered around him in the classic series, which gave him a lot of attention. And we did get to see tons of his powers on screen and what he can do, but just not with Ghost Freak. We mainly saw his powers through the character of Zeskare, and all these appearances result in a mile-long power list on his wiki page, which we never got to see. In fact, this was the reason I included in my perfect playlist like way back then, because of his wide range of powers. Ben really only uses Ghost Freak for possession and intangibility, I guess, and the occasional use of tentacles. His return in Omniverse sets up the fact that Ben is now free as Ghost Freak and he doesn't need to be afraid to use them anymore.
I still feel like me. Maybe I don't have to be scared to use them anymore.
And while some people didn't like the chains on his design, I kinda like the idea that they allude to Zeskare being locked away and not being able to access Ben's mind anymore, which made me think that we'd get a lot more Ghost Freak with a lot cooler powers and Ben not being afraid to use them anymore. He literally says that in the episode. We just didn't get to see the full extent of his powers in Omniverse. He has 16 episodes in the entire series despite being a classic alien, and still 15 trimmed down. It was still kinda disappointing to me that we never got to see Ghost Freak fight against Zeskare in the Anur Transol arc, because I feel like that's just something they would do. I mean, we got forearms against Kolar and forearms against Luna, plus Bullfrag against the other incursions, so I don't see why we could have got Ghost Freak versus Zeskare. I don't know, I feel like Ghost Freak himself was wasted, but Zeskare wasn't. Now I feel like next up is an alien that everyone will agree was wasted and did not get to see his full potential, and that is Snarro. Snarro has way too little appearances, and I think he has probably the least amount in this list, having only 6 episodes in total. And in fact, it's still 6 trimmed down because he didn't even appear in A New Dawn. He wasn't in the every alien sequence. He was definitely the least represented of the Halloween trio, although that's not to say the others were represented right. They were still kind of wasted in their own rights. But I feel like Snarro really got the short end of the stick here. His classic appearance was kind of cool, but it didn't really do anything too notable in Omniverse, and I was really disappointed his species wasn't explored too much in the Anor system. We got a lot of backstory for Zeskare and Dr. Victor, and at least we got a side character that was a Laboan, but we got pretty much nothing from the Thep Kufans besides some throwaway villain called Cthulhu. Now, one of the things I feel like a lot of people don't know about Snarro, but if you've seen this video then you'll know about him, is that he is stated to be able to perform ancient Egyptian curses, which is a really random power which has not been explored at all, not even just in Snarro or his species, but no other species in the Ben 10 series has explored those kind of of powers. So I think it'd be really cool if we got that representation through Snaro. And I feel like once I make a sequel to the Ultimates video I made pretty recently, I'll definitely include a curse power. The Mummy was also really hyped up in the classic series with such horror and being so powerful, and I feel like he was the one that was made to seem the most dangerous out of all the episodes for the Halloween trio.
We've got company.
He was the most mysterious one, because it was kind of weird how he could even exist in the first place, being just a pile of bandages. But I feel like in Omniverse he could have got a little bit more appearances. I don't know, Snar is a really cool alien. Now, next up on this list is one that's actually kind of shocking to a lot of people, but once you explain it, I think you'll understand. And that alien is Swampfire, but specifically Blossom Swampfire. Let me be clear. Regular Swampfire was not a wasted alien. He got the second most appearances out of any alien in Alien Force, appearing in 22 out of the 46 episodes in Alien Force. However, the specific form of Swampfire I'm referring to is his Blossom version. He had a whole episode dedicated to his magical Blossom form having new powers and being generally stronger. In the 5th season of Omniverse, in the episode titled Charmed I'm Sure, Swampfire appeared like 4 times in this episode, which each appearance naturally progressing his blossoming, eventually leading up to the magnificent finale where he turned into his final form. However, Blossom Swampfire only got 1 appearance after his blossoming episode, which was kind of cool I guess, where he fought Kevin and permanently scarred him. But since they got rid of his flamethrowers for seemingly weaker fire whips, it didn't really seem like an upgrade. In my opinion, I actually like the fire whips. I think it makes them more unique from aliens like Heat Blast or NRG, but I still feel like it was kind of like a wasted power. He had his blossoming in season 5, which meant that there was still plenty of time for him to shine, but he never got the chance. Even Vampire got more appearances than him. Spoiler, Vampire will not be in this video, but if you want me to talk about him, then maybe I'll do a sequel. For one of the most popular UAF aliens and the second most Alien Force appearances, his Omniverse appearance was really disappointing, considering there wasn't even an alien to replace him in Omniverse. Like, yeah, Chromostone didn't really get that much, but he was replaced by Feedback. Swampfire got replaced by Heat Blast, maybe? I don't know, it was just kind of disappointing. Next up is the alien, which I'm probably going to put in the thumbnail because it's the one everyone thinks of honestly, and that is Amphibian. Amphibian was mainly shown his potential from other characters like Rad and Fuse, where he showed how much of a threat he posed. He was able to put up a fight against Aggregor, and he was the final Andromeda alien to be captured, which gave him a sense of hype and finality. It made him seem like the strongest of the Andromeda 5. Rad also showed off his mind-reading abilities and telepathic powers by King Zarion, but Ben never got to use them.
How'd you know what I was thinking?
Your thoughts are but electric pulses. I can read them with ease.
I feel like that's such a useful power that Ben could use in so many situations, but he just never did. Amphibian is basically a combination of Ghost Freak and Buzzshock and being able to swim as well, where his coolest appearance was probably in Deep, where he was transformed into Humongosaur and then quick changed into Amphibian to survive from the ocean. He only has 10 trimmed appearances in the series, and his Omniverse design wasn't really anything too notable, and in my opinion was actually worse due to his really torn design and the lack of his abdomen, honestly. I feel like the reason why he didn't get to show off his potential in Omniverse is because he just got overshadowed by other aliens, specifically the electric ones. As seen in Max's Monster, where he got the least notable appearance out of all the electric aliens, and not to mention that Feedback and Shockswatch were really popular and the network really tried to push their popularity, because, you know, money. I really wish we got to see more of Amphibian, because he's one of the more unique electric aliens. Moving on to the final 2 Omniverse aliens, and possibly the biggest waste in a powerful alien moveset is Gutro. Like, seriously, this guy has so much potential to be such an overpowered alien, as he can create a gas for literally anything. I feel like you can see how OP that would be. He was able to infatuate a Waybad with other Waybads using his gas. I mean, yeah, the Waybads are mutant aliens, which are pretty subject to mind control, but like, it's still a cool feat. He only got 4 trimmed appearances in Omniverse, and his design was really mechanical and didn't really seem like an actual species in Ben 10 that could exist, because of the fact that, like, what is his body honestly? Is it the gas or is it the suit? Like, I don't know. This is most evident by the fact that he doesn't even get a species name or a home planet. Just for comparison, Rox and Squidstrictor both have a species and a planet name, despite them only being seen in Ben 10 plays. They weren't even in the series. Gutro could have been so overpowered because he also has enhanced intelligence with his chemical compounds, but unfortunately was just reduced to a fart joke. The problem with Gutro was that he was introduced at the point of Cartoon Network telling Man of Action to stop making new aliens and just focus on the existing ones. Because at that time, as stated by DJW, apparently the studio was making too many aliens, and Cartoon Network didn't like that because God forbid we make a series like Ben 10 have more than 10 aliens. I mean, come on Cartoon Network, with a series like Ben 10 you should have expected this. They literally said there's 1 million species in the Omnitrix, and you don't want to cap it over 50, I guess.
How many aliens can I turn into? 1,903 genetic samples available.
I love Gutro. I think he's such an underrated alien, but still, he's a wasted potential. And for the final alien of this list, and probably the actual biggest waste of an alien, is Atomics. This guy was introduced in the season 4 finale of Omniverse, so he had this whole second half of the show to make cool appearances. He was also introduced to be a this is cool alien and just have the most overpowered moveset ever with radiokinesis. He was able to dismantle Albedo, stopping Ultima Humongosaur's punch with just a single arm. And he had possibly the most amount of hype around any alien in this video, even more than Swampfire, who had a whole episode dedicated to him. And yet, he has 5 episodes in Omniverse, 4 that are trimmed. And that is being generous, honestly. Because one of those trimmed appearances is literally just him flying into a building. Like sure, his first appearance in For a Few Brains More was pretty cool, and I guess he creates a mini sun in The Vampire Strikes Back. But he literally stops fighting Malgax because he got tired. How are you gonna make an alien that is so broken and oh so overpowered, being able to rival the powers of someone like Clockwork, but lose to Vilgax because he got tired? I mean, hey, I'm just saying, Malgax is a combination between Malware and Vilgax, and Diamond Head was able to defeat both of those villains on 2 separate occasions, so I think he could have just used Diamond Head in one. I think everyone just knows how wasted Atomics was, and honestly, I even hesitate to put him in the 5 overpowered aliens alongside Alien X, Gravitac, Clockwork, and Waybig, because I feel like he just didn't get enough time to shine, and it doesn't really seem like he deserves it. I only put him there just because of how much hype he has. So it's gotta be worth something. At this rate, he's not even that much more powerful than NRG. And NRG's pretty cool, he gets lots of appearances. This is definitely the biggest waste of an alien and the one who had the most potential, but just never got to see it through. And that's it. At least for this video. Of course, these are not the only aliens in Ben 10 with wasted potential. We've still got a sequel's worth of aliens to talk about. So if you want to see me talk about some more wasted aliens, then show some support in this video and I'll make a part 2. If you watch this far into the video, that means you probably enjoy my content, which means you should probably leave a like and subscribe because that'll be cool. I want to get to 10k subs because Ben 10 YouTuber, 10k subs, that makes sense, doesn't it? Make sure to comment what you thought about these wasted aliens and some aliens you thought had wasted potential as well. And yeah, that's all I really got for now. So I'm Rizzyrez, and until next time, I'll see you later. Peace.